Hey YouTube, this is the Art of Prepping. We're looking at a Blackwash series Kershaw knife. This is going to be the Shuffle 2 in tan. I will have to admit, I've been a little bit cautious about getting another Kershaw knife. I've never really exactly had major problems with them. I've had a few in the past, the last one being a chive, and I carried it actually for most of the time for my EDC for like a little over 2 years. No joke. And this was quite a ways back. This is more than just a handful of years ago. But I just went ahead and got another Kershaw. It's been many years since I've done this. Ever since I sold my chive, I never got another Kershaw. I just kind of honestly, the designs were not very appealing, and until now. So stay tuned while we break this knife out. Okay, we're back. So we took the things out of the box, and you'll see there's a pretty large instruction manual and, just basic stuff there. The packaging's kind of cool. Kind of opens out like a drawbridge, and then the knife is in this plastic wrap, and it's well oiled. So I'm going to go ahead and break away one more time, and we'll see the knife. Alrighty, so we have the knife out now. This is the Shuffle 2 once again by Kershaw. And it has what they call the tan scales handle. These handle scales, to me, they definitely look tan. It almost looked like if you just put a touch of beige with a little bit of coyote brown, and you would get this color. It's not a bad color at all. So this is going to be just an initial review. We'll get into all the the nitty-gritty bolts and everything in the next review when we go over through in our actual full review. So. My first thoughts on this was, wow, this is actually quite a bit better quality than I expected, especially for a knife that I paid around $18, and that was shipped. Now, it has this feature here on the back, like a screwdriver bit, and it has this opening for a lanyard and this double-sided cap opener, cap lifter, however you want to say it, and it has a pocket clip that seems to be only, switchable from tip down left to right. There is no tip up carry. And I think overall though this is a pretty interesting knife. It has a little bit of a tactical look to it, and it has this kind of a sculpted it's not too random, the patterns, but this glass reinforced nylon, GRN they call it, and it's a pretty thin knife actually. I've seen a lot of people who had major problems trying to flick it open, and they just kind of had to do a slow manual opening. I didn't have really a problem with that at all. Actually, I even tried a little bit too hard right there. I didn't even have to go that hard. As you can see, it has this forward choil and secondary finger here, and boom, I wear extra large gloves, and wow. I mean, I can fill it up there, but wow. Right off the bat, though, my initial impression is that there's no jimping here. It's not that bad, though, because your purchase and the handle and your control is so rock solid. It may not be totally necessary, but it would be really cool if you could. Now, off camera, I only tested it one time and did a paper cut test, just because of the reports of this is so sharp that you have to be a little careful, and people actually do injure themselves because they kind of play around when they first get this and they cut themselves. As you can see, it was, it's actually very sharp. I did the paper cut test, slicing paper, no effort at all. You have to be very careful with these. You do not want to touch the blade and do a finger touch test, or, in those skin tests for sharpness, because it will cut you. I'm not a real big fan or a follower of Tanto blades, but this one I think is very unique. Just in its presentation and design, and I said, well, if I'm going to try Kershaw again, might as well try something a little bit different than I've ever have tried. And so let's just get a little bit more of a close-up here, and so we can kind of just get an idea of what we're looking at. And it is a fairly well-made knife. I will say that the initial reports, people coming out that there is a little bit of flex in the handle scales. It is true, but I'll show you here in a minute where it comes from. I don't think typically when I think of Kershaw, I think of like uber quality, unless I think about one of their sub-brands, zero tolerance. But I think they're up in their game. Now you can see this does have a a steel liner in the handle, but right here on this side where the clip is, it's hollowed out pretty thin right there, so that it actually gives you a little bit of extra room with the liner lock. Now, as you can see, there's a little bit of flex. I'm not able to push it as hard as I can with one hand. Well, here it is. You can tell there's a little bit of flex. But this is, you gotta remember, glass reinforced nylon, not injected molded plastic. I don't think it's gonna be a problem whatsoever. It doesn't really feel cheesy in the hand. You hear a lot of reports of that. It really doesn't. It actually feels really solid, and it looks really good. They call this a Blackwash finish. It kind of has a little bit of resemblance of maybe a stone wash, but it definitely has a little darker, tone to it. Supposedly it's done by an acid etching. I'm just going to feel here to, yeah, I can definitely tell it's a hollow ground. Definitely a hollow ground, and with a secondary bevel that it looks really, really sharpened. So anyways, that'll conclude this initial look of the Kershaw Shuffle 2. And in tan, here's the model number. Once again, you can get these easily at most places under $20 shipped. Fabulous knife so far in my initial results. I really am happy with this knife. In fact, tonight I'm actually going to go to Kershaw's website and look around and see if I can't find anything else, because I've kind of written them off. I really have, and I hope that if you've done the same, you would give them a second, a second kind of look, and maybe change your opinion and see if there's something that you can maybe find that'll work for you. I just think that this is a well executed knife, and so overall, yeah, I think that it's worthy of us to sometimes stop and ponder if things have gotten better or changed. These are, of course, made in China, but the quality control on this is unreal, just much better than I would have expected. And so with that, I hope everyone's well. Stay tuned for the full review, and long term, we'll do a field review of this Kershaw Shuffle 2, and I'll catch you real soon.